The moment you start explaining yourself, you start losing power. It goes against everything you've been taught. Most people believe confidence means speaking more, proving your point, making sure you're understood. But the truth is darker than that. The more you talk, the more you expose. Not just your thoughts, but your uncertainty, your need for approval, your limits. Every word you speak gives people data, and not everyone listening is listening to understand you. Some are listening to study you, to measure you, to find the exact moment you reveal too much. Because in real power dynamics, silence isn't weakness, it's a weapon. And the people who know how to use it don't need to raise their voice. They just need to say less. In this video, you'll learn why the most powerful people say less, and how silence quietly gives them control in conversations, relationships, and every power dynamic they step into. Because this isn't about becoming quiet for the sake of it. It's about shifting from reacting without thinking to moving with precision. From needing to express everything to becoming someone others can't fully read. And that change alone alters how people treat you. You're going to see why silence makes manipulators uncomfortable, why people start revealing more the moment you stop filling the space, and how a simple delay, just a few seconds longer than usual, can shift control entirely in your favor. Most people talk to be understood. Powerful people stay silent to understand everything first. And once you see how this works, you won't feel the need to explain yourself the same way again. Most people don't realize this, but talking too much is rarely about clarity. It's about validation. It's the need to be understood, to be accepted, to make sure the other person doesn't misjudge you. So you explain more, add extra details, repeat your point in different ways, hoping it lands better. But every extra word quietly shifts the dynamic, and not in your favor. Because when you speak excessively, you're not just sharing information, you're revealing patterns. How you think, what you fear, where you hesitate. And people pick up on that faster than you think, especially those who know how to read behavior. The more you give, the easier it becomes to predict you, interrupt you, and subtly guide the conversation wherever they want. There's a simple truth most people ignore. The more you explain, the more you position yourself as lower status. Not because your ideas are weak, but because you're signaling that you need approval for them. You see it everywhere. In arguments, where one person keeps explaining while the other stays calm and says very little. In conversations, where someone rushes to fill every silence because the pause feels uncomfortable. In everyday decisions, where people justify themselves even when no one asked them to. And in all of these moments, control is quietly shifting. Not to the person speaking more, but to the one who isn't. And the worst part? The person saying less is the one controlling the entire interaction. Silence isn't empty, it's pressure. The moment you stop talking, something shifts in the room. The other person feels it instantly, even if they don't understand why. Because silence creates tension, and humans are wired to escape tension as quickly as possible. So what do? They start talking. They explain more than they planned. They reveal things they didn't intend to. They try to fill the space you refused to fill. This is what you can call the silence gap, that small window of quiet where control quietly transfers from one person to another. Most people rush to close that gap because it feels uncomfortable, but the ones who understand power, they let it stretch. In a negotiation, the person who speaks first after an offer usually loses leverage. Why? Because they're reacting. They're adjusting. Meanwhile, the silent one is watching, calculating, letting the other side expose their limits. In arguments, one person keeps explaining, defending, trying to be understood. while the other just listens, pauses, and responds with a few controlled words. It looks subtle, but the balance of control is already decided. Even in first impressions, silence works the same way. The person who doesn't rush to impress, who doesn't overshare, who is comfortable with pauses, that person stands out. Not because they said more, but because they didn't need to. When you stop talking, the other person starts working. They start wondering what you're thinking. They start questioning what they said. They begin filling the silence with assumptions, and most of the time, those assumptions reveal far more about them than anything you could have said. And that's where the real shift happens. You're no longer chasing control through words. You're creating it through absence, because silence, when used correctly, isn't passive. It's calculated. It's deliberate. And once you understand how to hold it, you realize you were never supposed to speak as much as you thought. Niccolò Machiavelli understood something most people still struggle to accept. Power is not about saying the right things. It's about controlling what others are able to see, know, and predict about you. Not expression, but perception. Most people live the opposite way. They say what they feel, explain what they mean, and reveal their intentions too early. It feels honest, even respectable. But in reality, it makes them easy to read. And once someone can fully read you, they can anticipate you. And once they can anticipate you, they can control the outcome. Machiavelli's thinking was simple. Never give people full access to your mind. Speak with intention, not impulse. Say only what moves the situation forward, nothing more, because every unnecessary word reduces your advantage. In modern terms, this means holding back more than you're used to. You don't share every opinion in a room. You don't explain every decision you make. And you definitely don't reveal your full position before you understand everyone else's. Because here's the uncomfortable truth most people ignore. The moment people fully understand you, they stop respecting you. Not always consciously, but subtly. The mystery is gone. The unpredictability disappears, and with it, the sense of authority. This is why silence becomes so powerful. It creates a gap between who you are and what others can figure out. And in that gap, your influence grows. People start watching you more closely. They start second-guessing their assumptions. They become careful around you. Silence makes you harder to predict. And unpredictability, when controlled, becomes power. If you're starting to notice how different this is from how most people communicate, subscribe, because most people won't get this. And that's exactly why it works. Understanding silence is one thing. Using it with precision is what gives you control. And most people fail here because they can't hold it when it matters. First is the pause. Instead of reacting instantly, you wait. Just a few seconds of silence creates pressure, slows the moment down, and makes your response feel intentional. The one who controls the pause controls the pace. Second is the minimal response. Authority isn't long, it's precise. When you stop over-explaining and keep your words short, people listen more and question you less. The less you say, the more people listen. Third is the unreadable frame. Don't reveal your emotions immediately. Stay calm, controlled, and neutral. When people can't read you, they can't predict you, and that shifts control to you. When they can't read you, they can't control you. These aren't complex tactics, but used correctly, they turn silence into power. People don't fear noise, they understand it. They can predict it, measure it, and respond to it. What they fear is what they can't read. When someone talks too much, you figure them out quickly. Their thoughts, their reactions, their intentions. It's all visible. And once you're predictable, you're no longer a threat. Loud may seem powerful, but it's easy to decode. Silence is different. A person who speaks less creates uncertainty. You don't know what they're thinking or how they'll respond, and that uncertainty makes people cautious. They start watching you more, choosing their words carefully, trying to understand you. The man who speaks less doesn't need attention. Attention comes to him. And once you understand this, everything shifts. Silence stops feeling like weakness and starts feeling like control. Silence isn't emptiness, it's control. It's what creates mystery, builds authority, and shifts power without effort. The less you reveal, the more people try to figure you out. And in that space, you gain the advantage. You no longer feel the need to explain everything, prove your point, or fill every pause. You choose your words carefully, or you don't speak at all. And that choice alone changes how people respond to you. Because real power isn't loud. It's precise, it's controlled, it's intentional. You don't need to win conversations when you control them. And if you've ever noticed how people react when you stay silent, you already understand this. Most don't.